The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Bahamians on edge tonight after a group of parents band together and attacked a man seen hanging outside two primary schools. A frightening scene outside E.P. Roberts Primary yesterday. We have the latest for you. As Bahamians grapple with the disturbing level of crime, particularly after the discovery of the 12-year-old student from Anatole Rogers partially clothed and seemingly strangled, the question of capital punishment is again in the news. So what do you think? Is it time for us, the Bahamas, to stop dancing around the issue and just get to it? Also, social services on the defensive tonight after claims are made that they dropped the ball when it came to Adrielle Moxie. Well, we put the questions to them tonight, and also social services are dealing with the fact that children's homes are bursting at the seams as more and more children are neglected, abused, abandoned, and have to be taken in by the state. The only thing is that they are now struggling to keep up. We get to all of that for you this evening. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, let's take a look at this video. It is outside the E.P. Roberts Primary School yesterday afternoon. And many people were stunned by it. Many people wondered if the gentleman seen lying lifeless on the ground or looking to be lifeless, exactly what the story was. You heard the person narrating in the video talk about the fact that this gentleman was attempting to kidnap an 8-year-old student of E.P. Roberts Primary School. However, Beyond the Headlines this afternoon spoke with Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernandez, and here's what the real story is. The gentleman, first of all, had no business hanging around any primary school. He was seen hanging around the school, but certainly there is no indication that he made attempts to kidnap any student. This is what the police are saying. However, though, because Bahamians are absolutely on edge, because Bahamians are just shaken up still by the death of Adrielle Moxie, they decided, according to the narration in the video, some mothers, disturbed mothers, decided to take matters into their own hands. And so it really is, disturbing to look at that. But also, I'll tell you this, people are fed up. People are fed up with having one gruesome headline after another. They are fed up with wanting to see more stronger punishment by the courts handed out. And they are fed up with the fact of hearing that, hey, perhaps capital punishment is still some ways off. What is clear by that example that we saw is that Bahamians tonight want more. And they want stricter punishment where the crime and when it dictates, obviously, that capital punishment is enforced as a result. Well, we're going to get to the bottom of all of that. We're going to talk about that this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. My first guest this evening, Father Bradley Roberts. He is the rector of the, Father Bradley Miller. He is the rector of All Saints Parish. Good evening to you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Where did I even kind of go in there? But the names, yeah. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Shanique. It's a pleasure to be on your show again.
You have seen the headlines. You've heard the discussions. Bahamians are saying this is a bit much. We see what's going on. Adrielle's unfortunate demise really has caused people to start speaking out again. Your thoughts about this cry, this urging from our lawmakers to listen, please, if it's on the books, enforce it. It's necessary now.
from my perspective, I think a lot of people, and you said it earlier, a lot of people are on edge. There's so many things that is happening in our country, and it appears as if, for some reason, people feel they're not getting the justice that they should get. And so when things happen and people don't get the kind of justice that they think they should get, then people start taking justice into their own hands. And there we see the one that was showed a while ago. And so I think justice must not just be done, but justice must be seen to be done. And so we have to look at this, we have to re-examine, we have to pause in our country and look at our country and ask ourselves where we want to go as a people. We can't just be doing, and we use this word loosely, we can't just be doing the status quo. And we use this word loosely in our country, but that's what we're doing, we're just going through the status quo. If people are crying out for capital punishment, I'm not a proponent of capital punishment. I'm serious, but I would have no problem if that's on the law book and they're willing to carry it out. The last thing I know is that the Privy Council made a ruling, I think it has to be the voice of the voice.
The voice of the voice.
Well, if this ain't a voice of the voice with a child, then I don't know what is the voice of the voice.
But what's vexing is people feel as though that worst of the worst, and that sort of whatever that measuring stick is continues to move. It continues to be pushed back or just jostling here and there so that you can never reach the worst of the worst. Meantime, though, the citizens in a sovereign nation are absolutely fearful. They are concerned of what they see playing out on the streets. When you see a 12-year-old who perhaps may have been sexually assaulted, and then to follow up with that, strangled by all indications. Of course, again, these are all just preliminary estimates of what may have taken place because the official report is yet to be given. However, we saw what that scene was like. We heard the description from the scene. That right there is extremely troubling. A 12-year-old, her life just ended the way it was. And yet again, our lawmakers, our officials are deciding that, you know what, capital punishment is perhaps not the way to go. Not perhaps, they're saying it's not the way to go. Instead, let's look for solutions. What is the solution to that?
I think what is happening is, I think they're hiding behind this Privy Council ruling. I'm convinced that all legislatures are hiding behind the Privy Council ruling because if the Privy Council says it has to be the voice of the voice, then it is incumbent upon us to define what the voice of the voice is. Because remember, the Privy Council will be guided according to the law. So if we put it into law to say, this is what we consider the voice of the voice.
Then they have something to be guided by.
They have something to be guided by.
So we playing games then.
It is us who
because
are
we
playing.
have never put anything in black. We've never written anything on a piece of paper and say, Privy Council, right here, this is what you measure this by.
Right, and this is, we say this is the voice of voice according to our culture. And anything that involves children has to be the voice of the voice. It ain't no question about that. Children has to be in that voice of the voice. A child who's just coming through life, just trying to navigate our way through life, who's still young and who have a whole future ahead of us, who have potential to become whatever, and just interrupted just like that, that has to be the voice of the voice. It is incumbent upon our legislatures to go to Parliament and define the voice of the voice. So when it goes to the Privy Council, because it's already defined according to our law, the Privy Council will then have to uphold that law to what it is.
I absolutely agree with you, but let's dissect this further. I don't want to get into what the next segment's discussion is, but let's just focus on this for a moment. What do you say, though? You heard me talk about the children's homes that really are overcrowded because of neglect, abandonment, abuse. This little girl, we see the story in the various narratives being played out on social media. The father is saying one thing, that the mother was not the best. She neglected the daughter. The daughter was in several homes, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, what do you say about parenting? Parenting has to be somewhat, and while we talk about all the criminal element and all this stuff, how are parents in the Bahamas or people who having children, How are they acting as though these children are some sort of animals that can be easily discarded?
I think we need to get back to the importance of family life. We've lost that meaning of what it is to be family. And so parents need to take responsibility, full responsibility for their children. The primary responsibility for rearing children is parents, not the school, not social services, not the commissioner of police. The full responsibility lies within the parents. I think the problem for some parents, and that is because I guess they may have had the child young at a young age, and they themselves still trying to develop their own lives and trying to navigate through life, and they're not focusing on the children. They're still trying to enjoy life to some extent, and so the children are being neglected. But I want to say to parents, please focus on the children. I really don't want to speak to that issue with the 12-year-old, but when I heard, and I'm sorry that the lady seemed as if she was challenged, but when I heard she said that
What you want her
she went to bed, and when she woke up, it was about 3 o'clock, the girl ain't home. How could you go to bed?
And wait until 10:30.
How could
after
a parent
10:30.
go to bed and their child is out there?
Well, in her defense, you remember now, she said she's on some very serious, strong drugs. Pardon me, what is that called again? Medication.
Yeah, some medication.
Medication.
Yeah.
So she said knocks her out entirely. So when she woke up after 3 in the morning, she realized, my God, her daughter is not there. But then she became defensive. She asked, where is her daughter's community to have been there? And if you expect her to walk out through the track road to the main road to the police station when she realized the daughter was not there, like what do you expect? So she ended up going after 10 that morning. What do you even describe that attitude as?
I'm thinking, I really don't want to sound terrible in saying this, but you know when things happen, we all try to find some blame. I guess that's human nature. We got to find some excuse. You know, I remember one time a fellow was involved in an accident, and I said to him, man, what happened? And he said to me, man, Father, the road was wet. I said, the road was wet, or you were speeding? But you see, he had to find some excuse as to why he was involved in an accident, when the real excuse was he was speeding and he didn't want to take responsibility for his own action. I think we need to take responsibility for our action. Give and take, I understand and I sympathize with the situation of the young lady because of her condition. But also, I want to ask the question, you may could correct me, I'm told that this girl went to some junkanoo practice or something. If this was after school, shouldn't the school be held responsible to see that these children get home at a certain time? Once that practice or whatever they're doing is finished, shouldn't the school have some bus that will take these children to their place of residence?
I understand that there is a busing system or a bus available at Anatole Rogers for that very purpose. Again, these kids are back at school practicing for any number of hours. Should there be a time limit to after-school activities? That's number one. Should the kids who are known to have nobody to pick them up and no reliable transportation, should somebody be responsible for getting them back home? I mean, it's so many questions that we have to think about because, again, we act so slack and so careless with people's lives, you know, and figuring, okay, she lived right over there. Yeah. She could get home, but she lived right over there through a track road, and then it's a busy highway as well. So it's not safe to be trying to walk about, but let's move forward really quickly. Yeah. Do you think social services dropped the ball? Her father is on a video that also went viral saying that, listen, social services, he tried to complain. He tried to reach out. Nobody responded. The fact that this girl was in several, I guess, children's homes, not sure. He just said homes. The point is, though, he got nowhere. Now, tonight, he is there thinking about his daughter that he's lost.
I don't know what the situation is, but based on what he's saying, I had an opportunity to look at the clipping. Based on what he's saying, he said that he had this child until at the age of 5.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I guess the mother must have took the child from him. But he knew the condition of the mother. a situation like that should have been dealt with from the court. He should have taken the matter to court and says, look, this woman who have this child for me is a bit challenged. I'm the more stable parent. I'm the one with a home that is secured. I'm the one with a steady job. I'm the one who can take care of this child better. And the court will look at that because the court will take the interest of the child first. So I really don't know or cannot comment or say anything with respect to social service. I don't know who dropped the ball, whether he dropped the ball, social service dropped the ball, because I'm not privy to that information.
Yeah.
But I know social service will act when people respond.
Mm-hmm. Father Miller, of course, I want to really get to what you're here for, to discuss issues that you, as you normally do when you come by. But also, let's just sort of lighten up the mood a bit because we're going to get real heavy after the break. Let's just talk about All Saints Parish, somewhere that you continue to kind of really bring new life and energy and keep the community as well as the church going. It really is a great job you're doing there. You all are having a fair tomorrow.
That is correct.
Yeah, let's just talk about that. What's on tap? What can people expect? And do invite, obviously you want to invite people out.
Yes. Tomorrow, Shanique, from 12 noon until, we have our annual parish fair. Of course, we have our regular dishes, Bahamian native dishes. We have chicken dinners, we have fish dinners, we have ribs dinners, and plus, of course, we have steaks. Along with dinners, we have a number of variety of other stuff. We have of course, if you don't want nothing too heavy, we have the chicken, fried chicken, and your macaroni, and your conch fritters. You can have your roast corn if you want to. Of course, we have the Bouncing Castle. We have bingo games. Women love to play bingo. They be under that tent all day playing bingo. And you have hoopla.
Any little
You
kid,
have soft drinks and things on sale.
yeah.
You have sweets on sale.
Yeah.
Everything that you can think of that we like to indulge in as Bahamians will be there tomorrow.
And it's also like a sort of a nice, wonderful little community gathering as well.
Yes.
That you can be a part of, a safe space for the family to come and have fun. Anything special for the kids to do while they're
Yes, we have a kiddies corner. We have the face painting, and we have the Bouncing Castle. We have a number of things for the kids. So we're asking person to come out and support us. What we're doing, Shanique, is my vision was not just to have this fair in order to raise money, while that is one of the objectives. But I believe in bringing the people together, bringing us together with camaraderie,
It's needed now.
fellowship, and friendship. Because at All Saints, we say All Saints is the parish where burdens are lifted. And I have to say to them, burdens cannot be lifted if we're not together. We have to be in fellowship with each other. We have to be in camaraderie with one another. And so this is a family affair. And we're inviting the whole entire nation to come and join us and be with us tomorrow. Because tomorrow is the place where you need to be. We're asking people not to cook. Leave the cooking to the people of All Saints.
Listen, don't even eat breakfast. They're trying to say, come there with your appetite.
Yeah, come with your appetite. And we have, guess what? Talking about the dinners, they have conch and rice, they have crab and rice, and of course you probably have peas or bean and rice.
All Saints, listen, Torbert could cook.
So
And
tomorrow
people are All Saints.
is where you would like to be.
Yes, absolutely. Again, that's fair.
We start out at 12.
At 12, yes.
I can assure people if they come at 12, food will be ready. Food will
the
be
food
ready
will
at
be
12.
ready at
Yes.
12?
They have assured me. I've spoken to the chairman no longer than when I left the office to come here. He said, 12 o'clock, Father, food will be ready from 11:30, he said. So when people show up at 12, because the tickets say 12,
Yes.
so we have to honor the ticket. So we want people to just come out and support us.
Hot plate. That's
Yes.
right, your nice hot plate. Hang around as well, sit and talk, play games,
Yes.
have your kids enjoy some games as well as
Yes.
face painting. And just, a good place to be, a good wholesome place to spend Saturday afternoon. Father Bradley Miller, thank you very, very much. Again, the rector of All Saints Parish there in the South Beach area. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me, Shanique.
Yes, sir. Listen, don't go anywhere because when we come back, We have some officials from the Ministry of Social Services here who are going to speak to some of the issues raised this week after the gruesome discovery of Ariel Moxie and a lot more. I mean, can they no longer handle the abandonment and the growing numbers of children who land on their doorsteps? Well, we'll find out about that right after the break.
Get ready to win Lucky Bucks. Wherever you see this taxi, flag it down.
The boy hard, beating so hard, I will be hard. I'm looking for my first contestant to ride in the Lucky Taxi. You walk in the taxi, you got to do the Lucky Walk, man. Oh, yeah. Thanks. Man, thank you, sir. 85 times 2 is how much, brother? You leave it with $170, brother.
I never expected to win as much as I win.
Bang along.
Very excited when the gentleman picked me to ride inside the taxi.
So if I had to choose a game that would stay, it would be Island of Taxi.
You could be next on the Island Lucky Taxi.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, the nation is still reeling from the gruesome discovery that told everyone that missing 12-year-old Adriel Moxie was killed. Quite unfortunate. You all remember the scene and how it played out in the bushes at night. Sun had already set, and the police and teams of police officers combing through the bushes as they obviously retrieved her remains and then spoke with the media. It was really something that just gripped the nation. The nation became invested in that story, and to this day, they are still invested. You saw what took place at E.P. Roberts yesterday, all because people are on high alert, people are on edge, and have had enough. Well, the Department of Social Services, let's just look at them for a moment. You all have been seeing and sharing a video where a gentleman who was reportedly Adriel's father is pointing the finger at social services. Did they drop the ball? Did they ignore red flags when it came to the state of this 12-year-old, where she lived, etc., with her mother, who he feels as though was not suited, etc. Well, we'll put the questions to them. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Of course, this is the consultant in the Ministry of Social Services and also Assistant Director in the Ministry of Social Services with responsibility for the Child Protection Unit, Gabrielle Roma. Good evening to both of you, ladies. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Good evening to you
Good
too
evening.
as well, and welcome.
Listen, so you both, I know that you both looking at me like, what is she talking about? You all have to, you all are on now the fence. People are glaring at you, wondering if indeed the allegations and claims being made by a gentleman who was said to be the father of Adrielle, are they true? Did you all, was she in several homes? And was she kind of sent back to where obviously he felt she was not safe?
Speaking on that matter, it's an open case right now. So we really do not really wish to comment on that now, because a lot of information are coming and we have to do a proper investigation. And I do believe that my minister will probably speak further on this matter once he has all the details and once we obtain all the details from our records.
So can you say whether or not she was in one of your homes?
I cannot. We're still doing some research.
Okay.
So I don't want to confirm any information at the present time. We just don't want to compromise the investigation and then we provide erroneous information to the public right now. But I do believe that my minister, once we've completed our investigation, doing our research, I do believe my minister will speak further on this matter.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's just look at everything that's happening though. Your homes, speaking of homes and the fact that we see more and more cases of neglect, abandonment, abuse, what is happening now with the state of homes run by the Ministry and Department of Social Services as it relates to children?
Well, believe you me, I just took over the area in January of this year, and I've been astounded by the amount of residents that we have. We are full to capacity.
And when you say full, like what's happening? I mean, I imagine you are even shocked at this, that children who have parents out there somehow find themselves having to be in one of your homes because they are not being properly cared for. I mean, if you care to kind of let us know what kinds of things you're seeing that result in these kids being removed.
Well, you know, it stems from many of these atrocities committed against children. There's like gross neglect. I mean, you know, just parents, they're just not even checking for their children, not making sure that their children are attending school. Children are being raised by themselves. You have older siblings taking care of younger siblings. That is a lot on a lot of our children. And then, you know, we have a lot of...
And you said that the key word right there, they're still children.
They're
are children
still
being responsible for the next.
Right, and children ought to be children. Children ought not to be forced into adult role at the present time. They are to act as children, do children things. You have a lot of abandonment. Children are abandoned their parents. Either they might have be deceased, and then they are going into relatives' home, and they have just passed through one relative to the next relative, because some of the relatives do not want to take on that full responsibility or the additional responsibility of taking care of another person or another child. And then, you know, it also goes on to physical abuse cases, you know, and oftentimes when we see the matter of physical abuse, we try to separate and then remove the child from the environment. And then once we realize that the child, there is no other safe place for the child to go, what we normally do is we take those children in. And as well as to the fact that we do have children who are victims of sexual molestation. And what we do is we remove, once we do our investigation and once we realize that the children are a victim of sexual molestation, we have no other choice but to remove the child from that environment if the mother or the father is unable to provide a safe environment. And oftentimes too, you know, Ms. Miller, these atrocities happens to the children in their home.
In their home. The home is no longer a safe space.
That's it.
Let's talk about
And
this
then-
because you remember Miss Roma and Dr. Bartlett, the 10-year-old who was missing. Fortunately, the news is good there. He turned up at school the next day. Listen, you can't make this up. The boy was not home all night. I had an assistant commissioner of police on this show last evening, and he said there's, again, some issues with the home. So therefore, he wanted to seek solace and went wherever it is he went and spent the night. That's where the 10-year-old was. Dr. Bartlett, talk about the state of homes that you all are faced with on a daily basis, where these parents are the true menaces to society.
I'm glad you said that because, you know, I was thinking as I was listening to Ms. Roma that there was a season when the father of the late Dr. Miles Monroe, Matthias Monroe, anytime he would come and stand up with me and Pastor Miles is speaking or about to speak, he'd lean over and he'll say, I am the root, he is the fruit. And the message that he was saying is that he is because of who his father, the root, is. We are as a community because of what the root has become and is beginning. Parenting means the dignity and character between the adult and the child. And what it seems, and not even seems, it is at a disturbing level where parents seem to erase the line of dignity,
yes,
of a relationship, of having experiences where the police take in the mother and the daughter for fighting over the same man. Let me talk about having a young lady come to my office and say her mommy sent her to me to try find her a job. I said, where's your mommy? In Andros with another man. I said, who are you living with?
And how old is she?
She was 14.
Dear Lord.
I said, what? And she started to raise up her dress. I said, hold on. To show the scar with her mommy's boyfriend who she left to go to Andros for another. This is real life. You can't make these things up.
In the Bahamas, happening.
In the Bahamas.
So she left her 14-year-old daughter because she wanted to go be great in Andros.
She wanted to be, I guess the boyfriend over there was sweeter. What nonsense is this? And we have, and Shanique, we talked about it before. What we want as a society, we want to let's pull up the chair and let's have a heart-to-heart talk, you and I, with one another. This isn't their problem, this is our problem. This isn't only social services problem. This isn't only the police problem. This isn't only the school or the workplace problem. Whatever is in the root will come out to Parliament, will come out in the workplace and social services. I was on a fast food line just the other day, and I pulled up to order my meal, and the lady didn't even look at me. I said, well, I can't ask nothing because I'm not, I just kept trying to be nice to her and talk her up. I said, I don't know what the history is. I don't know what her misery is. And when I got down to the window to pay, the person who was collecting the money was so good. Customer service excellence. And that is what is happening to our nation. When we came in here to Eyewitness News and Beyond the Headline, this organization, one of this very young person, Shanique, turned back to open the door for Ms. Roma and I. Now, what am I saying? There are more of us who are doing well.
That's true.
But there are too many of us who are turning our backs on the values that we were brought up with. But the scary thing is, a gentleman told me just the other day that he went to a school and a guy held up his hand in primary school down there out in the Southern District and said, what do you mean? What is the book, the Bible, in the Bahamas?
Wait a minute. He's never heard about the Bible?
He'd never heard about the Bible.
Where households got like, Debbie,
where?
when did that ever happen?
What is
where
this?
households are where kids perhaps have never seen a Bible and never heard the word.
Never heard the word. Shanique, there is no freedom without the boundaries of values. There is no country in the world where we can look to and say they had anarchy, free sex everywhere, that's a problem. We have transactional sex. The children being eyewitnesses to their mother or their fathers having multiple partners. The children being eyewitnesses to and within their hearing and environment to crude language and we understand.
Well, that's become their everyday language.
Yeah.
If you see kids at whatever age walking on the streets, whatever in groups, whatever they do, and you will be stunned to hear how they speak and what comes out of their mouths, and you'd be like, what's happening? What's going on? But let's just talk about also, this 14-year-old came to you and said, listen, I'm alone. My mother left me here. She went to her boyfriend in Andros. Please give me a job because she needs to eat. She needs to be able to try maybe iron and clean her uniform to go to school. But she even in school.
No, she was at school.
So let's just talk about how mothers, though, this is something that's developing. And people sent me several bits of information about this one, where mothers are selling their sons and daughters. And when I say selling out for sex. Transactional sex is what it's officially called, but I break it down for you. They are pushing their boys and girls to sleep with whomever it is so that they can take care of the house. How prevalent is that in this Bahamas today?
Very prevalent.
Very.
Okay, you see, we agree. Okay?
Very.
It is extremely prevalent. I mean, I'm just talking about a few weeks ago that, just for background, Shanique, you know, I've been working in the inner city with the Commission of Police and the police over the years in inner city transformation. And so with that, I have a lot of experience and relationships over time where there are people who have transformed their lives. But again, as I said in the beginning, if we always describe the problem, we become more of the problem, and we do not give, when we see a problem, we cancel the police. I call the police my best friends because they are more integrous police than we know because of what we see the police do. But here's my point with transactional sex. I just got a call a few weeks ago, and I called him last night for an update. They are watching this young lady, and I said, when you talk to me with anything, you gotta go to the police. A mother, not 30, selling her child. So what am I saying? The person that I am talking about, I have known because he himself, and not only him, confirmations from other folks who know of, who are aware, who are continuously eyewitnesses to what is happening. Let me tell you something. That is become a normal practice. And Shanique, can I tell you another thing? Listen, what we have to do, even as, let's talk about accountability in the home. Y'all love me anyhow, okay? Sweetheart, this is not a time for taking the sweethearts in your home, love me anyhow. Because you know what they're doing? The sweetheart take the woman there, and that's how you get set up for robbery.
Say it again now. Break that down a little bit more.
All right. Now, I have had interviews with this, but it's continuing. I have had people on the air, and what I'm saying is, we hear things, but we don't respond. We like to react. We are reacting to Adriel. Over the years, went from the time I was doing reaction in 1980, we've been talking about these things, but it's escalating. It's getting worse. And we are putting ourselves, our personal selves, and our families in jeopardy. Because now I'm not talking about something that somebody tell me now. I talking to the people who do it, okay? Mm-hmm. This isn't somebody said me. I have spoken to women who go with men, persuade them to go into their homes when the wife gone away. And then they send their boyfriends to that home where they've been to rob.
So this is just a whole sort of like little arranged scheme, scam, operation that happens. So you cheat, but she's going to turn around and send her, listen, it's a lot going on. And then the kids caught up in all of that. It really is a lot. It's quite disturbing for where the Bahamas has found itself. Ladies, did you all ever think you would see the time where the Bahamas has found itself, where kids don't even know what a Bible looks like? They're wondering what people are talking about when they say Bible. Kids aren't familiar with church. Well, Sunday school barely happens, but there are many ministries where they still do, or children's church. Just where has the Bahamas fallen off, and how have we so gladly fallen off to such great levels in this manner?
Well, Ms. Roma, let me just say, because I think it's good to hear from Ms. Roma from a perspective and the wealth of knowledge. But Janik, let me just say this. I am so humbled and honored that for this season and this time, I am at the Ministry of Social Services. I am a Bahamian who have offers internationally. Call me crazy. And, there's a season to expand and get back out into that international world. But social services, the heartbeat of the nation. I am pleased that, and I may have been in that chorus of people just talking and saying, what's happening with the social services? We have some of the most qualified, and I don't talk monkey, some of the most compassionate people, capable people, like Ms. Roma, and I believe we together can make a transformation. And we got to weed out the bad apples in social services too, but that have to be all of us saying, wherever we are, when Bahamians arrive, first class has arrived. We have more talented Bahamians than those who are corrupting our environment, and we cannot have tolerance for anything that corrupts, erupts, destroys our stability. We are born to live in paradise.
So then, what is social services doing with the homes that are troubled, the ones that they know about, the ones where they had to take kids, and now you heard them, they can't even, they're bursting at the seams because there's no more space. How do they tackle that? We are going to continue this discussion right after this break here on Beyond the Headlines, in depth tonight, looking at the state of the nation, in particular the state of the family, and how parents in the Bahamas have shirked off their responsibilities to the point of they're causing harm to their children, and their children are also going out there causing harm on other people. This is Beyond the Headlines. We're back right after this.
K. Michelle.
What up, y'all? It's your girl K. Michelle. December the 28th, I'm going to be in the Bahamas. I'm coming to sing some songs. Yes, Bahamas, K. Michelle. We gonna light some candles tonight. Very special.
Life Jennings.
Yo, what's up? Nassau, Bahamas. Life Jennings is performing December 28th.
And Jay Holiday.
Yo, what's good, man? It's me, your boy Jay Holiday. I'm going to be performing live on Saturday, December 28th.
At the Nassau Cruise Port. Early bird tickets are now available online. Powered by 103.5 The Beat. Nightlife Entertainment. Alpha Sound Promotions. Free Bands Entertainment. 242 Party and Playhouse.
See y'all, Bahamas, December 28th.
What you doing? What you doing? Where you at? Where you at? We got a code. Got a code that you can crack. With Island Luck. Island Luck. You can win. You can win $1 million. 7 digits. 0 to 9. 0 to 9. You could redeem your promo points online. You should be guessing and not stressing. Could be $1 million in your possession. No need to question what's happening. We just made up some games to try to get you some money that'll make it alright. So if you wanna change your life, crack the code and stop joking. Crack the code and stop joking. Crack the code and stop joking, y'all. Crack the code and stop joking. Joking. If you guess the numbers right, no more stressing. We'll be balling tonight, baby. We can make your dreams come true. Play Crack the Code today. Win $1 million only on Island Luck.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience, with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Tonight we are speaking in depth with the Ministry and Department of Social Services. We have the officer in charge of the Child Protection Unit here. We have the consultant in the Ministry of Social Services here as well. We were talking about, in the last segment, about the number of homes. We want to know how many homes the social services manage, and then how many kids roughly are in those homes. Because if you were in the last segment of this show, you would have seen and heard for yourself the executive in charge of the Child Protection Unit say that they no longer have space. You all, this abuse, neglect, and abandonment of children is a real serious issue here in the Bahamas, where children have to sometimes run for their lives. You all saw the 10-year-old from Gerald Cash Primary School the other day, missing, overnight, missing. He turned up to school the next morning, and last night on the show, the Assistant Commissioner of Police, Shivago Dame, says he left his home intentionally, didn't go home because issues at home. So I want to welcome back to Beyond the Headlines Dr. Deborah Bartlett, Gabrielle Romer, of course, again, both executives in the Ministry and Department of Social Services. Ms. Romer, I'd like to ask, how many homes do you manage, and how many kids roughly are in these homes?
Well, we have 9 homes throughout New Providence, and in the Family Island. We have 1 home that is in Cat Island, and the other 8 are in New Providence. We have a home also, that's 1 home that is in Grand Bahama. We have roughly between New Providence and the Family Island, we have about 109 and growing. So,
and you stress that because I guess at the rate in which they're coming in.
Yes, and my director, when the cases come in, my director say, we have to deal with this, and social workers become miracle workers, because at the end of the day, we don't want a child who needs protective care to not be out there in the community and not protected. So we try to find some way, somehow, to provide shelter for that child at the 9th hour. Oftentimes, 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, we are at it to ensure that those children who are in need of care and protection, we have shelter for them.
So, for example, the 10-year-old who police admit did not go home intentionally, made the whole nation, you all saw the Amber Alert, you all saw the flyer from the Royal Bahamas Police Force put out a whole production, which the police has said that regardless now, kids that age and like the 12-year-old, they will immediately put out that Marcos alert. But what are you going to do in terms of his home? How does that happen to sort of go and say, hey, let's see what's happening here?
That particular case is an ongoing matter. So right now, I'm not at liberty to discuss that matter, but I can assure you, he is in protective care. He has a bed that he can sleep in tonight.
Oh, he's been removed from the home.
I cannot
from
say
his
that.
Home. You don't have to say it. I look like I interpreting for you because I tell you they ain't gonna give much here tonight. They ain't gonna give much.
No,
so then I'm happy that it's being investigated. That's all we really want to know because for this 10-year-old, we see the streets here. We see what's going on. We see what happened to 12-year-old Adrielle as she was trying to get home, and so it's not safe. And so therefore, it's good to know that's being looked into in depth. Yes, Debbie?
Just more broadly, because obviously it's social services, we are bound by confidentiality, and we honor that.
No, I'm the one who spoke out, so I know that.
But I'm just saying I want to speak on a broader context because the reason I gave my history is that even though it's almost like I fit into social services because of my experience on the inner city and interaction with the inner city. So there are different sources that I have experience and information. And I want to say this because we have to look at what the cost is to our society, what I'm about to say, on a broad way now. Because those children who are not going to school, some of them have been neglected and abandoned by their parents. And I want to make a comparison. Again, this allow me to step back from social services for a minute. Could I talk for a minute as a Bahamian? Just saying social services. Tell you something. What we have to do, and before I preface my remarks, do good to the foreigners, those who are contributing to the development of this country. Do good. No matter whether from Canada, from US, from Jamaica, from Haiti. But we have a problem we need to respond to and not react to. The Bahamians who are not going to school are highly functionally illiterate. That means they lack comprehension.
So that's a big thing as well, where many of these Bahamian kids are not going to school. You mentioned the foreigners. How many foreigners we have in these homes, and illegal? You know what I mean? Like what's happening? What's the true picture?
Well, we do have non-Bahamians in our home because at the end of the day, with the United Nations, the rights of children, the rights of a child. No child, regardless of their nationality, should be deprived of any type of services.
Debbie,
but
what you were saying about the children can't
read.
No,
but you see, they cannot read. They cannot read.
No, because the parents,
that's not social services problem. That is right there in the home. And we have to look at it. But you know something? Those abandoned children, those neglected children who are of other nationalities get up from the park and find their way to school and excel. Bahamians find a way not to get to school. The cost of our future. We have been given a responsibility in this country to have ownership, and that's effective stewardship. Ignorance cannot effectively grow this country. And then what we do is misappropriate responsibility. Social services need some work, yes. Yes. But the work is harder when the homes are not raising the children through dignity and character. But we have enough of us in this country You know what family means? Family comes from the word famulus, which means to serve. The foundation of every Bahamian is one of service, where we loved our neighbor as ourselves, where we share our pot with one another. Where's that gone? Are we allowing other influences to disrupt, to undermine what worked for us, where we had no crime?
And so that's why I want to ask you, Debbie Bartlett, where did Bahamians fall off? When did they become comfortable just being average? Matter of fact, below. Yeah, you listen to many adults speak and you'd be like, what the hell? Like, how are you all happy just there? You know, people who just how did that happen? When did it happen? Like how did it? And it seems like it's irretrievable. And I am an optimist. I'm not somebody who like to put out their heaviness and negativity. But these people make you scratch your head. What you all do is an entire calling.
That is a very good question. You know, poverty is not an excuse for failure. Our parents, or maybe not our parents, not my parents, but our grandparents, let's put it like that. Our grandparents. My grandfather lived in West End, went after my grandmother in West End. And my grandmother would tell me that they lived in a 2-room house. They had 10 children, 2 of them died. And my grandfather would say, Jana Wishko, LG Bethel, Jana, we're gonna have the first radio. And my grandmother would say, and we're gonna teach, and we're gonna have school, because she wanted to be a teacher. Bring the entire neighborhood so we could learn and listen. And then my grandfather would say, I am a great man. And his goal was to have the first 2-story house right over there in the Fort Hill, which he did. And he would say, I am a great man. And my grandmother would say, one day my children will help serve the world. Vision. Give our children vision and hope. Prepare and sacrifice for them. It doesn't matter how small we begin, it's where we end, and we can do it.
It's absolutely true. It's been proven. What your kids hear you say repeatedly, particularly directed towards them, they will begin to believe it. So what are you saying to your kids? Take the time to actually say something, anything to your kids, and do not pass on or off your responsibility. You are their community. That's where their community is, the household right there, with mother and father right there. You know, I thank you both very much. Of course, Father Miller, Bradley Miller from All Saints Parish. Once again, that fair is tomorrow from 12. Thank him also as well for his insight and thoughts on what's happening in the nation. I want to thank the Ministry and Department of Social Services, Dr. Deborah Bartlett, Gabrielle Roma. Thank you both very, very much. Really thought-provoking, a lot to chew on, and obviously something that we need to have more than once to steer this country in the right direction and to rescue and have some redemption happening as we move forward. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in all week long and hanging out with me. It's been great having you along, and we look forward to seeing you right back here on Monday. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Have a blessed weekend, everyone.